little bit in the middle, which we just discovered. But I'm altering the basic wall type to create a footprint of the existing building that's on the site plan so that we can phase it into an existing phase, and then which is leading into a demolition phase for this house, because we're going to be demoing this house, and the 2 garages on these properties in order to do our project. So I'm going to change this to 3 5/8, and we don't need a dash because we're not in AutoCAD anymore, right? 3 5/8, that looks good. So those are going to be kind of our finishes. We'll say it's double wide, and then we'll just, for sake of not changing the structure core here, we'll just say it has a wood stud. So we're going to change that to softwood lumber. Okay. And we'll say it's a 2x4. And on the inside we have gypsum board. Okay, so that's pretty good. That looks like our wall assembly. I'm going to hit OK here. Oh, level 3. Let's change that. Let's move that down. We'll do structure. There we go. Okay, okay. And now I have my wall type. Okay. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm excuse me, going to use this wall type, and I'm going to trace the outline of the project. And if we go back over to maps where we looked at the height, so we had about 3 to there, 8 to there, so we have about 11 feet of wall, right? And then we're gonna put the roof on top of that 11 feet of wall. Okay. So this one is going to be, for now I haven't defined any levels. I'm going to do that in just a second, but I'm just going to get this drawn while I'm kind of cruising through it. So I've got a wall here. It's to center line, so I'm going to change it from center line to finish face exterior, and I'm just going to trace the exterior. And with this one, sorry guys, I need to look at the picture again. There we go. I want to look at the image of it again. Okay, we have the porch, of course. I don't want to get into too much detail, but it does somewhat need to look like the house. So I'm going to draw these full height walls, and then I'll go back and add the porch real quick. So I'm going to try and keep them in even increments, like that, you know, is probably, hopefully 16 feet, right? 3 feet. We'll come back to here. We'll line it up with that little guy. And there we go. Okay. Looks pretty good. I'm going to draw a little section through this so I can take a look at it. And there's our little house. Okay, we'll change that to 1/4 of an inch. All right, so we have level 1. Level 2 will be at 10 feet. No, that was right, I guess. 10, was it 11? 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 and 7. The door's going to be 7 feet, so 10. That's right. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to hover tab, select all those walls, and I'll make the top constraint level 2. Okay. There's the magic of Revit happening right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create, this will be my top of wall where I place my roof, but I want to have a roof plan so that I can kind of see the roof. So I'm going to create another level. I'm going to go to Architecture tab, down to Levels, and we'll create one more level here. There we go. And we figured this is going to be about 18 feet tall, right? From looking at the image, just so you guys remember what I'm talking about, right? We figured we have a 3-foot step for this house. We have a 7-foot door and then a 312 slope roof. So we've got maybe another 10 feet. Maybe 10 feet. Anyway, it's just a guess. Seems a little bit high. Let's see. That's probably about right. We'll see what happens. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to go to level 2 now. And those little guys didn't want to change for me. That's why it was showing just one wall going that way. Level 2. There we go. Do you like this new feature of 2019 where you can see the levels in 3D?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was wondering if that was new.
Yeah, it's new. That's new. And this little feature right here where you have tabs instead of the views just stacking one on top of the others blindly.
I get very confused of how many I had open.
Yeah. And it's nice because now if you just want to go back and forth between two of them, you kind of can, right? You can,
More AutoCAD similar,
yeah, kind of like AutoCAD.
at least organization more.
Yesterday I opened a project I'm working on.
Uh-huh.
It has like, it's like 20-story hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and it had all those levels. And I usually delete everything except for the building, like
Right.
the street and everything. And I deleted all the levels.
In Revit, the whole building goes away. It's like error, 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 error. Rooms, rooms, walls, roof. That's so funny. Okay, so we have our building here, and we sort of figured that. Let's go back to our site plan real quick, or our demo plan, and let's just kind of measure. I'm gonna hide this for a second. A lot of back and forth, right? There's the footprint of it, and I'm just going to kind of measure the roof. So it's probably about right looking at the images. I'm going to shrink it down, maybe like we'll say 4 feet. We'll do a 4-foot roof all the way around. Yep. True bungalow. The eave extension, right? The top of the wall disintegrates under shadow. And you have an extension of interior and exterior space. So I'm going to create a roof by footprint, and we'll just do a generic roof. I'll make it narrow. It's probably like 6 inches in this old house, right? And we'll do a 4-foot overhang, and let's see if we can make this easy, right? No. There we go. Trim TR, right? And I'm just going to trim up those corners. There we go. And I'm going to hover and tab and click. And I'm going to change the slope to a 312. And I'm going to hit finish. There's my little roof plan. If I go like into an elevation view, that's kind of odd. Let's look at it. Okay. Do you think? I don't know. I think no, I don't know. I think if 3 or 4 is pretty accurate.
4 is looking pretty good.
Look at that. It comes out a little bit and goes down. Comes out a little bit, goes down. I think that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, this is going to be demoed, right? So it's okay.
That'll do.
That's good.
Charge you more for demo than you said.
No.
It's a 112.
Although if we take this up to there, right, up to our suggested 18 feet, that is,
Yes, but to say you can also go off the height.
yeah. I don't know. I kind of liked what we had. We'll stick with that. Okay. So we have our little house to be demoed, and like I said, we're not going to put too much detail on it because really the contractor just wants to know kind of the perimeter, what's there needs to be hauled away to the dump. So there we go. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go back to my demo plan here, and like I said before, we're going to phase this, and right now our phase is set to existing, and I'm going to click on this element, just make sure that held. Revit has a really bad habit of you change something and then you come over here and click and you hit escape or something and it flips it back to the original setting. So I always just like to sort of verify that yes, you know, my phase created is existing, okay? And if I go into 3D or go to my roof plan and I click on my roof, oh, that's new construction. So by selecting it and choosing existing, I can change it to existing there. You're going to notice, so if you are working in AutoCAD and you have a demo phase, right, it's going to be dashed, but it's also going to be probably a gray color, right? So it's very light on the plan. And things that are new construction will be heavy pen weights, bright pen weights, black. So if you notice here, if this was a new construction, do you see how it's a bright color, right, and black, and this is going to be more gray? And the second that I take that and I change it to existing, it grays out. Right, so Revit sort of knows that those pen weights need to be altered. All right, so that looks pretty good. I think so. Now I'm just thinking about, should I demo it in roof plan view, or should I demo it in floor plan view? And I think maybe what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do it in the roof plan view, and I'm going to make it a wireframe view so that you can see the walls through the roof. Yep. Because there's no other identifying elements. There's a roof here we're showing, and there's an outline of a house, essentially. And I don't really want to do, I guess I could do two plans, right? The demo plan, I could do a roof plan and a floor plan, but it's excessive when we're not keeping any of it. Yeah. Like if it were a house remodel, right? And we were taking off like half of the roof and half of the back wall, I would do a roof and a demo because we're maintaining elements on both levels. But with this one where we're just getting rid of everything, I'm just gonna do a roof plan and call it a day. So here we are. We're in the demo plan. That looks pretty good. We are in a wireframe view here, right? So I can see everything essentially, which makes me really happy. The next thing I need to demo is the garage back here. So I'll do the garage, and I'm just showing you one house, and then you'll have to do what we did today for this house and for this house as well. Okay. So I'll do the garage, and our little trick that didn't get recorded. So I'll remind everybody here is I went to the Salt Lake City slc.org, the county assessor's website, and I went to the interactive parcel search, and I typed in our address, which was 475 Harvard. And of course we are going to demo this lot, and we're going to demo this lot here, and we're going to demo this lot here, essentially. So what I want to do is, again, to get the dimensions of this house, I came over here to parcel, I went down to structures, and I looked at the sketch that they have on file, and that's how I found the dimensions of the house. And I did a little screen print of this, and I brought the image into Revit, and I scaled it up to the right size. Now the garage likely doesn't have a sketch, so there's the residence and then there's detached, but I can look at this and see that it's 14 feet by 44 feet, okay? So we're going to draw something 14 by 44, and do that, okay? So I'm going to, again, use I'm just gonna use the same wall type that I used for the house. Likely it's just a framed wall, so it's probably a little different, but I'm just gonna use the same one. And I'm gonna draw a rectangle in this case. Get it somewhat close to what I want it to be. It's not gonna be identical. That's sort of the idea with Revit. I talk about that all the time, at least in my Revit course that I teach, right? In Revit, you generally get things the size you want them to be, and then you revise it if needs be. So I'm going to pull a couple of dimensions on the outside of this house, and I'll click on that. I know it needs to be 14 feet according to the tax guy, and it's going to be 44 foot in length. And I'm just going to kind of, I think the garage is a little bit less important, I'm going to say that, and I'll probably regret it, than the house, right? But there we go, and I'm going to grab that and make sure that the base constraint is level 1 and the top constraint is level 2, just like the house. Let's see if we can see it on the Google Maps. It looks like it's kind of shorter than the house, maybe. So maybe we'll make that about... Yep, my only rule is you're quiet. Okay. So let's take that up to, we'll take it up to level 2, which is at 10 feet, and let's bring it down a couple feet. So I'll do a top offset of -2 foot and bring that down just a little bit. And then we'll just do another hip roof, right? And we'll give it maybe a little overhang, a 1 foot overhang. So we'll go to roof by footprint. And we'll just do a 1 foot overhang for now. See what that does. Pretty darn close to the property line. So it might have been 2 feet, it might have been 1 foot, but I think close enough. And we'll give this one we'll do this the same as the other house, 412. There we we go, and finish that. And then I'm going to drag this little section down to my garage and get everything placed the way it should be. So I brought the walls down 2 feet. I'm going to bring the roof down 2 feet. So it's still associated with level 2, but I'm just going to give it a base offset of -2 foot and bring it down just a little bit. Okay, so there's our house, there's our garage, right? And again, you know, my phase right now is set to existing, but I'm just going to verify that all of those things did get drawn on existing. Looks good, existing, okay. And you'll have to go through that same process with your houses here as well, okay. All right, so we have our first house drawn, the north house drawn, and it looks pretty good to me. When you put this on a sheet, you're not going to really need this image behind it, so I'm just going to hide that for now and bring it back if I need it, right? Looks pretty good though, I think. It's in a wireframe view right now. I'm going to even just hide this in this view because we don't really need that. And then you'll have your second house here. And if I were you, I would use some filled regions and just kind of show where the sidewalks and the driveways were, just to kind of indicate, you know, just where things are, right? The city is just going to want to know some basic information about what you're tearing down, right? So I don't think they will need everything here. They just want a good general picture of what's happening. All right, so here's my little house. Everything looks really good. Now it's time for me to demo these, okay? So here's where the magic happens. So this currently, all of this geometry has been set to the existing phase. And when I select it, you'll notice it says what phase is it demolished in, right? And if it is new construction, I don't believe that this option is available, but we'll look again. But what we want to do is here, if it's to be demoed, we're going to choose new construction. Okay? Or if something's going to remain, you'll choose none. All right? So I'm going to hit apply, and Revit just knows now that that roof is going to be demoed in new construction. I'm going to grab my wall here. When is it going to be demoed? In new construction. Okay. And the little garage here, right? I'm going to grab that, and we are going to change it to new construction. Okay. So not a whole lot has happened, right? Not a whole lot has changed. And the reason not a whole lot has changed is because my phase filter is still saying show all right? And so what we need to do here is, number one, we need to change our phase filter, and we need to change our actual phase in order for these elements to, quote, demo, and then to show demoed on our screen, all right? This is one of those things so in AutoCAD, I feel like one of the most confusing things is the right-hand rule. When I am typing in a rotation, I'm like, is it left? Is it right? Is it positive? Is it negative? Right? I can never remember. You know, it's so confusing, I feel like. In Revit, we'll compare this. Phase filters are super confusing. So you'll see me a lot of times just kind of choosing which one I think is the right one, but if that's not right, I'll change it, right? So just browse through them until you find the one that kind of shows what you want it to show, essentially. But what I'm going to do here first thing is I'm going to change to new construction, okay? And immediately, do you see what happened? Everything showed dashed, okay? Now if I were to draw something in the new construction phase, so I clicked on wall, architectural, if I were to draw, you know, something in the new construction phase, the new construction phase shows solid line, right, indicating that it's brand new, and all of the things that are to be demoed show dashed, right? You're like, well, normally we don't generally show things that are to be demoed on a new construction plan, so I don't really want them to show, right? So on the demo plan, you're going to set your phase filter to show all, and you're going to change to new construction, and this will show up, okay? When you change to your new plan, all of your demo stuff is still going to show, and the way to turn it off or on is your phase filter. So instead of showing all, maybe you just want to show previous plus new. Okay, so previous meaning there are existing elements that are to remain, right? Not demo stuff, but previous elements to remain and new construction to happen, right? You could also show demo plus new, right? So you're really going to manipulate what's shown on which plan using phasing and then your phase filter. Show new only. Show previous plus new. Show previous phase.
So it's kind of like layers
Mm-hmm.
in a way?
Yeah, but it's named way more confusing.
Yeah.
Right? I very literally sometimes will browse through 3 or 4 of these filters till I find the one that I want, right? Which is fine. There's not that many of them, of course. But now we have our demo plan here, right? So if you had drawn all your new condos and you don't want them to be shown, right? You're in new construction, but you don't want all that new stuff to be shown, so I would do previous plus demo, essentially, right? And that's how you're going to show your demo plan. So you'll have your house down here, you'll have your garage here, and then I would likely I'm going to reset this. I want to turn on our image again. Oh, what did I do? Okay. What did I just do? Unhide. And we're going to hide this little guy. Uh-oh, I hit something I didn't want to. Raster image. Okay. Okay. There we go. Looks good. So the other thing that I would do that I think makes sense is I would also outline your sidewalks. You could use a filled region if you want to, but I think just even using kind of a detail line would make sense, right? So we'll come in here and I think you're just going to want to indicate where all that stuff is happening, likely with just a solid line, probably a thin line, right? So that when you call all these things out to be demoed, the city will know where all that stuff is, right? So here looks like there's maybe a little sidewalk right there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just gonna get it as close. Oh, it looks like there's maybe something there, huh? Maybe they just got rid of whatever else. What I kind of like about, oh, we didn't do the front porch. So you guys will do the front porch. Yeah, sorry, we didn't do the front porch. I should have done that. Yeah, you'll extend the roof over, and then you're just going to do shorter walls on the front just to indicate a porch. Yep, sorry, I didn't do that. One of the things that the city likes to sort of see is vegetation versus concrete on the ground, right? So I initially said use a filled region because I can give a little hatch to that, right? And then you could say the vegetation is like a dotted hatch, and then the concrete is like a light gray shade, right? So I decided to do it with detail lines, and then I remembered why I like to use the filled region.
So you use filled region instead?
Yeah, yep, I would use a filled region. And again, it doesn't have to be totally perfect, but pretty close, yeah, right? Just so that the city kind of knows what's there, what's built, what is vegetated, right, where the sidewalks are, all that good stuff.
Oh, those trees are gone. Those trees are out of there.
Which trees? Oh, these trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Neighbor's trees.
Yes.
One top is still there.
This little guy? Yeah, that one can stay. So, yeah. There's some stairs. Anyway, so now, right, if I turn this off, hide and view elements, right, we start to have a really good complete picture of kind of what's happening. So we'll have to extend this roof. I'm going to hit edit roof footprint. I will move it out to meet kind of right there, which is where I know finish that up. And then I'm going to grab this wall and I'm going to hit create similar. You guys use create similar. Best tool in Revit. Oh, the best tool. That's all I do. I don't even use commands anymore. Like once I have a few things drawn, I don't use the command anymore. You'll see me doing that. I use create similar. So if you have something that like you have a brick wall and you want to use that brick wall again, one of my biggest pet peeves about Revit in the quickness factor is that you're constantly scrolling through menus. Like do a detail line, go through a menu, find a line. I hate it. It's not quick, right? So to kind of get around that, I will draw some things. When you click on it, you can choose create similar, and that will allow you to create an identical instance of that. So create similar, and so now if I draw it, I've done something. Anyway,
Screwed something up.
I think it's, no, I'm in the demo plan. Huh, that's weird. So this works, trust me.
So much for the best tool.
I know, right? I know. It is the
Bad
best
sales
tool.
pitch so far.
3 foot. I don't know what's happening. It's kind of odd. How big was the 4 feet? Okay, 4 foot. We've got, it's still creating those elements, so it's just, I think, oh, it's because they're being created in the new phase.
Okay, wrong face.
Yeah, wrong phase. So we'll do existing. There they are again. There's the porch. So it looks pretty good. There we go. So this little guy is going to be demoed in new construction as well, right? So we're going to show all that stuff. It needs to be out more. I asked you how wide it was, and you said 4 feet.
No, 4 feet from the roof. Yeah, 4 feet.
Oh, okay. You're right. There we go.
4 feet somewhere, right?
There we go. We'll pull that back. You guys will make it perfect. You'll make it perfect. Okay, so it's starting to look the way it should, right? Let's see. So we've got all this stuff on the ground. We have the built environment. Everything is showing demo, right, as it should. The stuff isn't going away, right, when you demo it. It's just turning on and off. It's kind of like a layer visibility type thing where things are turning on and off. So that's going to be something you're going to be working on over the next few days as well. I'm going to post an assignment for a demo plan, right? I think it'll probably, so let's look at your assignment workload so far.
2 due on Sunday.
2 due on Sunday.
So to add this on a Sunday night would just be mean.
I won't do it on Sunday night. So let me look at a calendar here. Yes. So I was thinking you have a lot of stuff due here. Next week we'll talk about programming. So I think it would be, I'll do it on the 30th. I'll do it on the 30th. And then that way you'll be able to work through programming. You'll be able to get the demo plan going. But I'm also going to assign a couple other things because you're going to have to do your, I'm going to show you how to do area plans, and I want you to start a preliminary site plan for your new massing. So you're going to have some other things to be doing. But Friday's going to be your day to go and interview your person, right? So you'll have that out of class time to go and interview your person for your program. That'll be Friday. This Friday's work, essentially. All right. Any questions on phasing? One other thing I want to show you about phasing. So right now we're in the new construction phase. So when I create something, let me create something new construction here real quick. And I already had something. Change my phase to show all. Let's change show complete. Show all. There we go.
What about the detail lines? They show in everything.
Yeah, but it's only in this view. It's only in this view. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so on the other new view that you create, you won't be able to see it. But if you do want to see them, you'll have to copy them from view to view to put them in the same spot. So if I made some filled regions, right, I can grab these. If I want them to show again, I can Control-C copy, and then I can go to another plan, like project site, right, and I can go to paste aligned to current view. Have you used this? And it will paste it in the identical spot on the next plan.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, but you don't have to choose the base
No more
points.
making little handles and
Yes, magic. It's magic. Magic. Yeah. Yes, it's the same thing. This is the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, same thing.
In my office, everyone just makes handles coming off of everything. There's
Yeah.
just depth point handles all over the place.
That's so messy, though.
It's so my
It's so
favorite.
messy.
But
Because
you did a couple of things. When it's like apartment complexes with everyone has a handle coming off.
you're not supposed to draw on def points. You're not supposed to draw on def points.
Oh, they draw everything on depth points.
Why?
There's just depth point lines everywhere.
Man.
It's just one guy. He is like
I'd-
obsessed with.
I'd be going through deleting them all. They'd create a non-printable layer, man. So we can.
He just puts a lot of like guideline stuff for himself with depth points all
It-
over the place.
That's really funny. Everybody else is dying over it. They're like, Jeff over there. He puts all these def point lines everywhere. Steve.
Steve
That's
has
funny.
one of those names, too.
Okay, so that's gonna be. I'm gonna post that assignment, and And then the next thing too that you're going to want to start working on will be your symbols legend and your general notes. And this is one of those where I don't care if you guys, like the general notes only have to be typed up one time. So if you guys want to share those, that's fine with me. But I want to talk a little bit about your cover sheet, a little bit about general notes, and then a symbols legend. And just, I guess, legends in general, right? Because those are going to be things that you will use heavily in a set of construction drawings, okay? Before we get off this topic, I want to also remind you that you can copy these, right? So a lot of times I will generate kind of most of the information on here, and then I will copy them a bunch and manipulate them from there, if that makes sense, right? Yeah, so, well, you're going to have a vicinity map, you're going to have the demo plan, you're going to have the project site, right? And you may or may not want all that information on some or all of them. So I create all the information first, and then I copy it and delete stuff or turn things on and off. Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, there was one other thing I wanted to show you about phases, and that is this right now is in wireframe view, right? But if I go to like level 1, you're going to see, and this is fine, right? The walls are indicated. Of course, you'll turn these on and off, right? It's shown on level 1, but you'll turn them on and off. The walls are just shown blank, right? Which I don't personally really like. I like that it dashes it, and I think that works really well, but I like to have kind of a very light gray fill pattern in there so that you can visually see it a little bit better when you print them out. And so if you go to manage, yes, I always see. I always use my shortcut keys. Manage, I think. Manage, and you go to phases. This will, number one, it will allow you to add phases. So, right, yeah. So if you wanted to add like a future phase, right, you could add a future phase if you wanted to do that. So you could insert, a future phase. You have all of the phase filters, so you can add phase filters, which I've never done because I don't feel like I needed another one. But I can also change my graphic overrides, okay? So the existing phase right now, this is the thickness of the line in projection, and it doesn't have obviously a pattern for that. But the cut lines, right, which would be like a floor plan, this is the thickness of the line, and then here's a pattern, right, which is really no pattern. So it says hidden pattern. There's no pattern. But what I like to do is I like to change my pattern to like a solid pattern. Oh, it's at the top, huh? And I like to change the color to just kind of one of the lightest grays out there. Right? Background. Okay. Apply that. Hopefully I got that right. Halftone. I could even halftone it. We'll leave that. Existing. Oh, that's existing. Demo. Yeah. So you gotta add it to your There we go. So demo. Foreground, background. That's new. Foreground. Oh, must be elevation. So I wonder if they're taking into account their elevation. And again, we'll make it just kind of really a light gray. And so you get kind of a light gray fill in there, right? So this must be foreground and that must be background even. So that's new in there in the graphic overrides. Let's look at that again. So foreground. There, now, this is really the first time I feel like Revit has kind of addressed the idea of perspective, which was, again, another one of its weakness. Let's see if that, well, it didn't work here, but I bet it will work in elevation.
I think that's not cut. How high did you make that wall?
It's only 3 feet, but it should be in the background. It should be viewed in the background, right?
Yeah.
You change the existing to get
Let's look.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. There we go. Nope, still didn't do it. It's odd. I mean, I'm just thinking it's that. It's that, like I said, that's new. But either way, I kind of like that it does that because then I get, when I print it out, it just reads better, essentially. So you can kind of customize that however you want it to be. All right, so let's talk about, we're going to switch gears here. I want to talk about your cover sheet and general notes and your symbols legend. And let me actually, I want to open something up, so, and I think I'm probably going to have to download it here real quick. So, 1 second.
Bring us some general notes from your office.
I bet you could too. Here, we'll take a 5-minute.
Like